All right. What's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 27th of March, 2026. Here's Dante, my beautiful standard poodle. This is a video on our main side, one of our forwards under In the Image Clothing Company, where what we do here is allow the body to work. That's our slogan, allowing the body to work. Yeah, clothing. We're only a clothing company because clothing is the only thing physically placed onto us. Okay? Literal wording, the way that God clothes the fields with grass, we clothe our bodies with anything. Glasses, jewelry even, but hats, pants, tops, socks, shoes, undergarments, gloves, anything at all placed onto the body is just clothing the body. The lighting's not what I would consider ideal for this video, but I feel that we need to make this video right now, so here we go. What we talk about is just clothing, staying centered, fitting correct, and being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials, just to allow our bodies to work. We've got joints of body parts and joints of material of clothing meshing, okay? We've got ropes like shoelaces or drawstrings tied on or around the body, introduced to the body, that could potentially twist and rotate the entire body with one side tied over the other in a knot. We have imbalances of any kind in clothing, and there are many in modern day 2026, and then clothing design is shipped across the entire earth in ways it never could have possibly had been done like that in the past through technology. So we've also got oversized clothing, and so what I'm saying with the joints of material meshing with joints of body parts of clothing is that doesn't happen if our clothing is too large. Okay, so what happens to our bodies is we get into chronic patterning. Scar tissue builds up in the body and bone spurs build up in the body, where the body's not allowed to track in its only in-line position, its only normal, natural, or neutral position, which are synonyms within how the human body functions. Same with the bodies of the dogs over on In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, another one of our forwards where we let dogs stay natural. The same approach as allowing the body to work here on In the Image Clothing Company's main side for the human beings, giving information that applies to all dogs, but specializing in purebred, standard-sized poodles. That's In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. So we discuss everything though. Eating, sleeping, standing, walking, sitting, breathing, hydration, everything we do as a human being, we're just doing all of this within our clothing. Our clothing has to work for our bodies or our bodies can't work. There's no opinion, no new information, no sales pitch, no claim that we're having under In the Image Clothing Company when we say things like this. There truly is only one way the human body could ever work. It's always been the exact same. In order for God to design us in His image, being designed in the image of Jesus Christ, that's why we're a clothing company, because there's a universal human design. God had to first look like us to be able to even word it as designing us in His image. And God is unchanging, also called the truth, the same yesterday, today, and forever. God is always the same. The human body is made up of bones. The bones in the body are only the shape and length that they are, and they just connect to each other through ligaments directly. The body's skeletal system, or all its bones connected together, are already there as one system connected through ligaments, and then the musculature of the body is a secondary thing pieced onto the skeletal system of the body in order for the bones to be able to move and be stabilized. The muscles of the body connect to the bones through ligaments. That's not the case. Tendons, okay? But the muscles only pull, and they only do it directly in line. So muscles will pull to close a hinge joint on what we could call as the inside of a hinge, but on the back side, the opposite side of a function, like the hinge of the elbow, muscles are still pulling to extend the elbow. We don't push ever as a human being. We pull muscles together to extend a hinge joint. The human body is just mechanics, and the human body only pulls. Our two videos we reference often under In the Image Clothing Company for reasons like this. The body's just hinges, levers, and rotations. It's just functionality because it's just a mechanical machine placed onto this rock in space that is our Earth. There's only one way the human body could ever work. and it's residing in its neutral positions. We've got a vertical pull to gravity and a horizontal surface to the earth beneath it. Our bodies have even mathematical opposing bends from the bottom to top. The ankles bend backward, the knees bend forward, the hips bend backward, the low back bends forward, the mid back bends backward, and the upper back, which is just the neck, the cervical spine, bends forward. These would have to be even measurable mathematical opposing bends just to stay vertical on Earth's vertical gravity pull. Things like just standing up versus leaning left from the center, or leaning right from the center, there's a neutral. Standing up or leaning forward from the center, or leaning back from the center, there's a neutral. In all the ways the body works, a neutral wrist, a neutral ankle, a neutral pelvis or hip structure, neutral shoulder position, just with Earth's gravity pulling our arms down at our sides, that's the neutral. And then we have full range of motion from there. In the body, there's what's called full range of motion. Everything the body can do to have motion, which is what the body is, just a mechanical machine or a machine of motion, a kinetic chain, all connected. Everything in the body goes anywhere any other part of the body goes. The way it does this is, working all together. All right. And there's a full range to all the motion. Okay, so we move all the way one way from the neutral or all the way the other way from the neutral, and that's as far as the bones can go. And the bones hit into each other. Okay, and that's it. There's only a full range to the motion of the body, and it would just have this. God designed the body to work, but we get into these chronic patterns. Like I'm saying, we live in a right-handed world. 85%, give or take, of human beings are right-handed. Products are designed to be used with the right hand if it's for one-hand usage over two-hand usage. There's a center line to the body. We've got these feet opposing the center line, gripping arches inward. They keep us vertical on Earth's gravity. Okay, evenly opposing the center line, though, is how they have to be. So the point is, we get into a right-handed patterning. Clothing just gets us into patternings. Clothing design, to the degree that it is right-handed. We've got robots stitching our clothing nowadays in 2026. In modern day and going forth, things are so much more unnatural than they ever could have possibly been in the past. Unnatural, artificial, and synthetic. These are synonyms with the word fake, right? The word fake is synonyms with these words. Unnatural things can only come from natural things, but matter cannot be created or destroyed. And so what we take as natural is what we use to make unnatural as human beings, but it always decomposes back to natural anyway. There's only natural that exists. Our bodies are only what we eat, and that's just literal. Our bodies are literally the earth that we have eaten, and we can only grow from eating natural things. So the goal is natural on all four sides of In The Image Clothing Company. There's some good context, but here you go. This is the point with this video's title that I haven't told you yet. The human body takes up space naturally. Let's put the word naturally in there. Okay, the human body naturally takes up space. We'll just say it like this: the body naturally takes up space. The body of the human being, or the dog's, anything like this that's just a mechanical machine, it's made up of bones. And these bones by themselves are essentially immovable sticks. Unless they break, bones don't move by themselves. The way the body moves is where the bone connects to another bone. Now the body can move by the musculature connecting to those bones through tendons, right, where the muscles insert to bones through the tendons. Those insertions pull directly in line together. And so the bones are just like sticks. They don't move until they connect to another bone. And this only happens how it does. The bones in the body are only the shape and length that they are, and the muscles in the body are only the shape and length that they are. No claim. It's truly impossible, and always has been, to train the human being to get it to do anything. You can gain muscle size, hypertrophy, muscle mass by working out your muscles, or you can gain musculature's strength by working out your muscles, but you can only get this excessive amount of musculature strength or size until you stop trying to get it excessively large or strong, and then it always goes back to the human body's only normal. No sales pitch, no approach, it's truth. There's a normal, natural, and neutral position to the body in every instance of anything that it is, just being the mechanical machine that it is. Even just the temperature the body has, there's a normal, the resting heart rate per minute, the resting respiratory rate per minute, the amount we breathe, the amount of fat content versus muscle mass is just naturally there in the body unless we excessively eat or excessively starve, if you will. Seriously, lack food, nutrients. Yeah. There's a natural healthy amount of fat content because the body uses fat for functioning. It's restored, it's reserves of energy. The body can essentially eat fat reserves, and the body just does what it does. It's a machine. It only does what it does, ever. That's it. It's impossible to train it to get it to do something different. The bones are only the shape and length that they are. The big point is this video's title with the explanation of this. Okay, so the point of this video is its title, is really what I mean. Because, yeah, we do so much and always will under the gift of video under all four sides of In The Image Clothing Company. For this reason, this is just a permanent documentation. I'm just making sure he's not eating anything, Dante. Of just what's going on. Every human being to ever live within this universal human design is the exact same. You can have an amputation, a deformity, a birth defect, a major surgery, anything like this, or anything that's not like this at all, but just sets your body apart a little bit or quite a bit. You can only be set apart from something, which is the universal human design. So we need to do all that we can do in all of our own individualistic situations to get as close as we can to the universal human design for the functionality. Because the human body has to breathe. And it has to stand if it's going to. It has to just sit vertically if it can over Earth's vertical gravity pull. It takes the entire body to some degree to stabilize in every single breath we take, with our rib bones connecting in the center line of the body in the front at the sternum, wrapping around the body and connecting to the center line of the body in the rear at the spine. They are expanding and contracting. They're actually moving and bending. The ribs of the body are some bone in the body that actually does have motion to it. They bend a little bit. Well, they bend a decent amount, quite a bit really. But in order to breathe, our rib cage has to literally physically expand. Okay, and it will just do this naturally in 360 degrees, just all the way around if there's nothing in its way altering it, or if it's not in patterning where the musculature that's allowing this to happen isn't able to move the bones naturally. Okay, but the body has a center line. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. The jaw naturally stabilizes the entire body. We put a lot of focus on the jaw under In The Image Clothing Company. Okay, there's your context. Let's get to this video because we are losing light, if you will, for the day. But this is actually good in this silhouette type of, position. Not position, but lighting. This is actually good to show what I'm showing here, because you don't need to see me any clearer than you need to see what I'm saying here for this video's title's sake. Because, yeah, the body naturally takes up space. So this is the thing, is in order to allow our bodies to work, we need to have them be natural, okay? God designed the earth. God then designed the human being and placed it onto the earth. You don't have to be religious in the slightest, but we're all human beings. We're all the same thing, placed on the same earth and designed by the same God. It always was what it was before we got here, and it'll be what it is after we leave as well. Just generation after generation of human beings, we all just come to this earth and we're all doing the same thing to the degree that we are. We're just living a life as just this body of flesh and blood and bone. It's only what it is. So the body, just having the motion it has to have the literal physical space to be able to move, or it physically can't. When it comes to our hips and our shoulders, they stem out to our extremities. So some of the big focuses for this video are going to be breathing and the actual physical motion of expanding and contracting the rib bones, because there's the lungs within them that are essentially like balloons that are allowing the exchange of gas for oxygen to rush into our lungs or for carbon dioxide to be breathed out of our lungs. The bones need enough room to physically expand to breathe in, and then they will contract and we breathe out. The shoulders need enough room to physically move to get our hand to go places, and the hips need enough room to physically move to get our feet to go places, just to have operation to take us across this earth as just this mechanical machine that the human body is. So we get into things in great depth with our explanations under In the Image Clothing Company with the anatomy of the human body, a lot of free modifications in clothing, and then, you know, we'll always have good clothing under In the Image Clothing Company, staying centered, fitting correct, being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials to not alter the body. Same with the dogs, you know, In the Image Clothing Company's dog products, same thing, staying centered on the dogs, fitting them properly, and being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials. But I want to just give a fairly brief explanation in this video just to get it documented, get it seen while we still have some light as of today's date for the date mark, to show congruency, to have it be our insurance policy in the ways that it is, and just for the free information of what's really happening here in the human being. There's no opinion to the body only ever working one way for every human being to ever live. It's only what it is. The human body works activated as a whole. Everything in the body's there with its own individual role to play. If anything in the body's not working properly, other things are trying to make up for its role and do compensation, and that can't happen because everything has a different function. One thing you can notice is how well I can speak. Not only meaning the way that I can articulate my words, but how much projection I have behind my voice, and I can breathe well still as I speak. This is a physical, mechanical thing. Speaking is, eating is, sleeping is, everything we're doing as a human being, it's a physical function that's happening, and it only happens the way it does. So what we have is the bodies need to be able to continue to breathe and just stay stabilized through it all as it does that. And so I'm often just yelling over the surrounding sounds as we are blunt, bold, raw, and real in the Image Clothing Company. But if I'm not able to physically project my voice loud enough to do that, then I can't do it. And how this is happening is through breathing. Now, we talk about it like this. The hand is the shoulder. When we lock them out at the elbow between the two, the hand will do the exact same thing the shoulder does, and there you go. When we lock the foot out from the hip at the knee between the two, the foot and hip will do the exact same thing. There's truly only one way the human body could ever work. It truly is just a mechanical machine. In the physicality of it, that's all it is. That's how it moves. It's a machine of motion. And with our bones only being the shape and length that they are, and then muscles connecting to those bones through tendons only in the location they do, and only ever pulling and having the ability to function if this is all pulling directly in line, otherwise it can't work. There's only one way the body works. Only ever, that's it. No opinion. Come back in 100 years, however much time you ever want to try to come back after. We make a video discussing how the human being works under In the Image Clothing Company that sounds different than a lot of human beings say. There's only truth to life. We don't get to decide it or change it as human beings. The body is something that I personally didn't design as Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. And none of us designed the body. We didn't make our own. We don't get to decide or change how it works. It only does what it does, or it can't work. So the body naturally takes up space. In order for us to move the shoulder, there needs to be this mechanical ability for the shoulder to open. We've got a shoulder joint or a shoulder capsule, the collarbone called clavicle, the upper arm bone called humerus, and the shoulder blade called scapula are three bones coming together to become the shoulder joint. And this is where the edges of our top material sit, is as close as we can get right to the edge of where the bones of the shoulder are meeting. In the hip, we've got this upper leg bone, which is called the femur, coming up and it's got a ball at the top of it called the femoral head meeting into the socket of the hip called the acetabulum. And there's only one location where all of this can happen, meaning these bones joining together and have the fullness of all the range of the motion they have until you just go to where the bone hits into another bone and you have your full range of motion. It's impossible to train to a neutral. Like I was showing, neutral is the resting state for the arms down at the sides with Earth's vertical gravity pull on them. Neutral is just the wrist straight out from the outside of the forearm down and out that pinky finger, and really it's just the middle of these two fingers up the middle of the two bones in the forearm, the radius and ulna, that have rotations, internal and external. There's only one way the body works. It's impossible to train it. There's no claim or new information, but we just have to start with things like our feet flat on the ground, in the term zero drop in any brand of shoe, and not altering our feet with shoelaces. So in the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, nothing to do with us other than we title it that because it's the only way you can weave a rope across the top of the human feet without altering all the mechanics in there, the muscles, ligaments, tendons, and bones that make up these gripped arches in our feet that support our bodies vertically on Earth's gravity. Yeah, there's only one way the human body could ever work. So we have to start with our pant waistline at the proper angle and our shoulder seams on our tops at the proper position, because gravity has the same effect on our clothing that it has on our bodies. And so clothing being just anything that's the only thing physically placed onto our bodies, the literal wording of clothing our bodies with something just has to work for our bodies or our bodies get damaged. Okay, we get out of chronic patterning and scar tissue, bone spurs, problems in the body like this under In the Image Clothing Company. That's really what we do here to allow the body to work after we've gotten into patterning, which we all have to a degree, unless you're entirely, completely centered or within patterning to a degree. But the point is, the body takes up space. It's just a machine of motion. It's a mechanical machine, and the bones cannot do anything besides how they connect to each other. So when I say the body naturally takes up space, and the reason for this video's title and me making it right now on today's date, the 27th of March 2026, is because we live in this modern man-made world that we place onto God's natural earth. We've got a lot of things going on where, picture this, you've got a lot of chairs set right next to each other, set up for an event, like a class maybe, you're learning something, you're watching something take place, you're sitting in a car, a man-made vehicle, and you only have the amount of arm room you have to even move your arms. There's still always a full range of motion to all the body's functioning. And if we're sitting excessively close to something right next to each other, maybe it's just another human being, you can't fully move to do something if there's just not enough motion to do that, meaning enough room to have this natural motion. You'll approach it in a way that's not mechanically how your body works, and compensation will happen throughout your body because you can't just naturally open up your body's sockets like the shoulders and the hips. Anywhere the foot goes, it's stemming from the hip. Anywhere the shoulder goes, it's stemming, well, from the hand, but the other way around as well. Anywhere the hand goes, it's stemming from the shoulder. And so anywhere the hip goes, it's stemming from the foot, either end of these extremities. From foot to hip, from hand to shoulder, or from hip to foot, or shoulder to hand. Anywhere either one of them goes, the other one has to go. The end of this motion, the fingertips up to the shoulder, it's all one thing when locked out at the elbow between the hand and the shoulder. The toe tips up to the hip, it's all one thing when locked out at the knee between the foot and the hip. There's only one way this body of flesh, blood, bone, and just this mechanical operation that it has can ever possibly function. It is truly impossible to train the human being to get it to do anything. We discuss it in such depth, there's no possible dispute to what we say under In the Image Clothing Company. We understand it thoroughly enough to where we just explain the truth of it. It's always been the exact same. Every human being to ever live and everyone who will ever live after us, we say it like this: every body has one, or every one has a body. But if we're not able to open our joints fully, the capsules of the shoulder or the hip, this stems out to the hand or the foot, if we're not able to expand all of the ribs fully to get a full breath and breathe all the way in, then we're lacking our full range of motion. If we're lacking our full range to any of the motion the body could possibly have, or any motion in the body we could possibly explain to try to understand its full range, then the body's damaged. If the hands aren't working, they alter the shoulder will then alter the spine travels down to the hips travel down to the tips of the toes, and they come up as well. All of this alteration that could happen just from the hand comes up through the jaw to the tip of the head, the jaw stabilizing the entire body. The whole body is damaged if anything in it is not working correct. This is why I say what I do as the founder of In The Image Clothing Company, me, Evan Strong. We have to do all that we can in our own individualistic situations to get as close as we can to the universal human design for things like breathing, Earth's gravity, the center line to our bodies that has to remain to some degree at least, because that's where the brain stems into the spine with the electrical system spanning out through the whole body for it to even be able to move. Electrical signals get sent from the brain out to our muscle fibers, and the muscle fibers fire. They contract, they pull, they get closer together. That's the only thing muscles can do. So we've got things like stretch in clothing that didn't even exist just tens of years ago from today's date, the 27th of March, 2026. And stretch in clothing goes the exact opposite way of the only way the muscles of the body can possibly function. And the only way the body can possibly function physically, motion-wise, is if the muscles work by pulling, which is all they do, to move the body, where they connect to the skeletal system, the bones of the body. So there's only one way this happens. There's no possible outdated information to truth. We don't get to decide it as human beings, but if we're aligning what we're doing as human beings with God, then it's always permanent, eternal, unchanging, and just as it is. So we've got things like this in the body: different length fingers, and then a different length thumb than our 4 fingers. We've got different length toes, and we roll evenly off the ends of our different length 5 toes, if you've got them. The universal human design, if you will, though, has 5 different length toes. And we roll evenly off the ends of all 5 toes to share the weight. And this opens the body when it's just working properly. We've got videos under In The Image Clothing Company discussing things like this. On our main side, there's a video titled Different Length Toes. There's a video under In The Image Clothing Company's main side titled The Open Palm and Internal Rotation. Yeah, there's a lot of videos I could reference, but I'm just trying to really stick to the point of the body naturally takes up space because we have open, rounded hands. The hands always, only, and ever work round. We have man-made things that are very unnaturally flat. We have gripped, round arches in our feet. We have man-made flooring that's very unnaturally flat, okay? So the thing is, the hand is the shoulder, the foot is the hip. In order to have an open shoulder, you have to have an open hand's palm. In order to have an open hip, you have to have an open, rounded foot arch. In order to use your body in its full range of motion, you have to be able to open your body, and it naturally takes up space. So this is the problem. Truly a problem. Not something like a problem to focus on, but this is what's happening, and this is why the body's not allowed to work in modern day. God designed the human being to work. If we never altered it, it would just work. But we've got things, well, in clothing specifically, like shoelaces, collapsing the feet arches, if they're not laced the only way the feet are shaped. In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, truly. We just title it that. We don't own it. You can't own a weave of a rope. Okay, stretch in clothing will just deactivate your muscles. Tags in clothing that we need to remove, they're just inside clothing as a physical gap, like placing a leaf from a tree in between your clothing item and your body's skin. It's just changing the body's only working position in its neutral of everything that it has, and or just deactivating muscles. Musculature doesn't want to activate against something like a tag placed between the clothing and our body's skin. So, I mean, that's a big point, is things in clothing specifically. We are a clothing company under In the Image Clothing Company. It's 2 of the 5 of our company name words, you know. Well, really, one of the words of the 5 is clothing, you know. In the Image Clothing Company. Yes, we are a clothing company, but only to get to the functionality of the human being. If we never wore clothing, we wouldn't need to be a clothing company to do what we do under In the Image Clothing Company. The fix could never actually be clothing. The fix to allowing the body to work would be never clothe the body with anything, never place anything physically onto the body, and it'll just operate because God designed it to work within our own individualistic situations. But what we have also is things like oversized clothing. If clothing's oversized, it actually closes the body off, because we need clothing to fit right at the joints of our bodies for the joints to fully have their motion and open. If oversized clothing is not allowing the joint to open, it closes the body off. But then, like I was saying, we've got things like this, you know, you're sitting in a car, you're just sitting next to someone, you're at work and just working next to somebody, you're just standing there. You don't have to be at work at some job or something, but whatever you're doing in life, we have a lot of things structured and set up like this, is what I'm saying. Businesses, companies, buildings, where it's like an assembly line, even if it's not something you would normally think of as an assembly line. Even restaurants, and even, you know, yeah, you're going to some kind of event, and the way they set the chairs next to each other, we're often standing right next to people or sitting right next to people, and we don't have enough room to physically just use our bodies, and the bones are only the shape and length that they are. You're only going to move your body the way your body can physically move. It's impossible to get it to do anything besides just what it does. There's a very specific way the ends of each individual bone in the body are shaped, and they connect to another bone that's very, very, very specifically shaped as well. The muscles connect to those bones in a very, very specific location and position to allow the body to function, or it doesn't. The body either works or it basically just doesn't. It's either really, really, really struggling to try to, or it's allowed to. There's only 2 ends really in the body. Within our own individualistic situations, that's why we have to get as close as we can to the universal human design. It's things like just the weight of our body's arms. For example, that's one of the things. If you have an amputation on one side of your body, you still have a spine in the center, and so we need even weight because of Earth's gravity. There's only one way the human body can ever possibly physically, mechanically function, and it takes up space. So what happens is, if you don't have the ability to just naturally open your shoulders, you can't fully expand your rib cage and can't even breathe fully. Your rib cage itself naturally takes up space, but your arms are on the sides of your rib cage. And so your arms have to be able to physically open at the shoulder to get as full within all the range of motion that's naturally in just the shape and length of the bones of the arm of the human being. This has to happen to be able to fully breathe. This is in waking life or sleeping life. There truly is only one way the human body could ever work, even subconscious or unconscious when you're asleep. There's only one position the body can physically breathe in. Physically, a physical position is what breathing is. So the big point with this video's title specifically, because we discuss these things a lot and very often and very, very, very thoroughly under In the Image Clothing Company. There's no possible dispute to there is only one way the human being could ever work. When we get down to the truth of it, we did not design the human body. It's only what it is. Always, only, and ever. For every body who has one, or everyone who has a body, there is a universal human design. But if we're doing things in general daily life that don't allow us to fully open our bodies and have the motion that we naturally do, then our bodies will be creating patterning from that. Yes, we are a clothing company, but because clothing alters the body. Anything that alters the body, though, we discuss under In the Image Clothing Company, allowing the body to work. And so, well, if the body's not being allowed to work by anything that could possibly be altering the way it functions, we discuss these things if and where we do under In the Image Clothing Company. And so people will maybe try to go to the gym to open up their shoulder capsule through mobility, routines of pushing into their musculature and trying to loosen it up, or stretching their muscles when we have opposing muscles that evenly contract on either side to stabilize in the center. That's the only way the human body works, is by pulling together, and pulling apart on muscles with stretching them is the exact opposite direction of the only way they possibly can function. First off, there's no opinion to that. That's not good to stretch your body, but within stretchy clothing, your body will be damaged, and then you might feel as though you need to stretch something to get it to work. A rope around your waist, tied one side over the other, rotating your entire body, you don't have this even opposing activation of musculature in your body anymore, and you might feel as though you need to stretch your body to get it to work. It's impossible for that to benefit you, though. It's damaging only to the muscles of the human being that only pull to function. So, yeah, there's no opinion. Like I'm saying, come back in any amount of time you want to the information we have given under In the Image Clothing Company at any given time. As long as it's truth, aligning with God, it just is what it is. We don't get to decide how the body works. It's impossible to train it to do anything. Truly, that is the truth. All opinions aside, let's get to the truth of this mechanical machine. The bones will not cease to be what they are unless they break or something like a surgical procedure happens. Okay? There's only one way the body works. No possible opinion to it. Possible, I said. Yeah, I know I say that often because that's the point we hit. That's the only way you can allow something to work, is if it just will, if it's unaltered. The only end is to allow God's design of the human being to work. So, yeah, the point is, if people are going to the gym to try to mobilize their body, well, there's only a full range to the motion in the human being. Always, only, and ever. You get to the end and the bones physically hit into each other on either end of everything in the body, but we just have a neutral position to everything in the body. There's no opinion to it. It's things like this: an upper, a middle, and a lower trapezius muscle on the back connecting the shoulder blades or the scapulas to the spine. There's a middle to that. It's like the hand just tracking in line. The wrist can come up or it can go down, only from the middle, the neutral, the center, the natural neutral or normal position. In everything in the body, there's only a normal. There's Earth's vertical gravity pull and its horizontal surface. There's the feet dorsiflexing, lifting up, or plantar flexing, pointing down, only from the normal, the neutral, the natural. It is truly impossible to get the body to do anything different than it just does. Okay? But this is the problem with this video's title: why this isn't allowed to happen. The body naturally takes up space. Why it can't is any reason that it's physically restricted. It then lacks its full range to its motion, and there you go. It doesn't take up space anymore because it's physically not allowed to. If you're sitting in a vehicle that's only big enough for you to have partial range of motion in your body, then you're not using full range of motion. And there's always a full range to the motion the body has. If you are doing anything in life that's just limiting your full range of motion, then your body doesn't work through a lot of it. Even if only part of your body is being restricted, everything's there. It's all supporting everything else that's there in the body. So what happens is you can go to the gym or just work out or do this wherever you do it, try to get all the mobility you want to try to achieve in your body. You can only get to where you can get to till the bones hit into each other. And that's the full range that is already there if it's not altered. Look at babies and toddlers, young human beings before they get old enough to have time to get within patterning. Babies have a lot of natural motion because it's natural motion. It should never leave. But we get into patterning. This is truth. There's no opinion, no sales pitch. It's just how it is. That's just what we do under In the Image Clothing Company, is get down to the truth. What I'm saying is, if you try to go to the gym or do it wherever you do it and try to get all the mobility you can try to get in your body to where you would just get to the end of your full ranges of motion, man, it's loud out here and I'm yelling. It is what it is. I could film these videos anywhere, I understand. Okay, but here's the thing. If you, after doing this, trying to stretch into or you know, massage out your joints or mobilize into your just natural full range of motion your body has always and always will have, just because of the shape and length of the bones, the shape and length of the muscles, but then you spend the rest of your day or week doing something that's restricting your body's natural ability to just open up, then your body cannot open or take up space. The body naturally takes up space. You'll notice this, people whose bodies work well, and not to toot my own horn or to put the focus on me, but I am the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, with our slogan here on our main side being allowing the body to work. I do preach what I have practiced. We speak out of personal experience, trial and error, prayer and revelation here. That's how we know what we're doing, and it is accurate as far as all the things that we discuss. The main focus with, there's no opinion to how the human being functions. That's the truth. There's no approach to the body. It's just what it is. It's always been that. Every human before me, every human after me, there's a universal human design. You'll notice though, what I was saying is I am one of these people, but any human in life who their body works well, you'll notice it looks like they're just taking up more space than other people who don't have their bodies working very well, who are within patterning. It's not an egoic thing in the instances that it isn't. If you see someone who stands in a way where it might seem like they're standing with their chest extra proudly puffed out, or their shoulders extra back, or their arms extra away from their sides, the body naturally has to have its ability to move by these joints being open. In order to fully breathe, you have to physically open the space between each of the individual ribs of the body. And if your body is working well, you just stand and sit and walk and move and even sleep, eat, and do everything in your life in a position that looks more open than anyone else who is in patterning. That's just how it is. And this is a misconception. I mean, sometimes people will try to intentionally stand extra big to look like they have more muscle mass than they do. But this is why it's a good thing for me to be the one showing this. I'm naturally a very slender, thin, skinny, if you will, person. It's just how my body naturally is. And I still stand in a way that seems bigger or more open than a lot of people currently, you know, and going forth, because I'm the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, and I do what we do here with allowing the body to work. Meaning, really what I'm saying there is my body works, and what I'm really saying there is my body has its full range to its motion, and you can just see it. That's what I do. I show the visuals as I'm doing here on camera. That's why we do so much under the gift of video, as I call it, a gift, for this very reason. Is one of the reasons it's a gift. So yeah, with this permanent documentation, that's what I'm saying. The body naturally takes up space, and so yeah, it's hard to breathe if you're sitting somewhere where you can't fully expand your rib cage. It's hard to breathe if you're working in an environment where you can't just fully open your shoulder capsule to move. If you're just sweeping the floor even, and you're just in a little closet area, or you're in the corner of the kitchen, then you can't just fully open your body and use your shoulders to sweep and use your hips to move, then your body is damaged, lacking part of its full range of motion. There's always a full range to the motion. You'll never get more motion in your body. It's impossible to go farther than where the bones hit into each other. So anyway, the body naturally takes up space. And sometimes you'll see people, they're standing, they're walking, they're moving, and they just seem very open. Again, not to toot my own horn, but I am one of those people because of what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it. And using myself as the example is to show the visuals and explain what's going on. This full range of motion in the hip capsule, it starts at the feet. And so if you're standing somewhere where you can't just have full motion where your feet can just work and move, then your hips close off. If your hips close off, your rib cage closes off, and then your shoulders collapse in. The body naturally takes up space. And so really a big point here is, I've worded it like this quite a few times under In the Image Clothing Company. We do give a lot of free modifications in clothing to not alter the body with what we are clothing it with, but we also give a lot of free modifications, if you will, in just the way we approach our lives. And anything you're doing in life, just make sure you can do all that you can to put focus and intentionality on where you are and what situation you're in, to have enough physical room to have the rotations of your body, the levers and hinges of your body, be able to have their full range of motion while you're approaching whatever you're doing in life. Because if we don't approach everything we're doing in our lives in a way that our bodies can physically do it, we're forcing our bodies to compensate. Meaning, if you're maybe working on something and you need to clear a space where you have enough ability to physically move in that space and have your body have its full open ranges of motion to do the task you're doing, if you don't move what you need to have a good area to work in physically, as in for your body to physically, mechanically work with just the functionality it has, then you will ingrain patterning into your body, trying to make do, if you will, with just a small amount of space. Your shoulders bind up if you can't open your body. Okay? If the feet can't work, it alters the hips. If the hands can't work, it alters the shoulders. But it's through the whole body. If the feet can't work, it alters the shoulders. But even if the feet can't work, it alters all the way out to the hands. If the hands can't work, it alters the hips. But if the hands can't work, it alters all the way down to the feet. The human body is always going anywhere any of it is. So the focus is the body naturally takes up space. You will feel very, we could use the word diminished, if you can't fully breathe. But this is the thing, like I'm saying, we live in this modern man-made world. You're inside of a house, there's only the amount of room that there is in a house. You're inside of a man-made building, like a business, a company's place where they're doing what they're doing. Maybe they're selling food, maybe they're selling any kind of product you're in there to purchase, or maybe you're at some kind of event center, whatever that could mean. In any way, you're going to a man-made place to do something. There's only the amount of room there is to fit the literal physical bodies in there. And even if we're not actually sitting, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, or standing shoulder to shoulder or hip to hip, just when it comes to actually moving the body, think about from the shoulder out to the elbow. You can bend your arm at your elbow, but now just to move your arm, it still has to be the length of your upper arm around you just to fully move your shoulders. Otherwise, you'll be restricted and your body will be damaged. Truly, it will be damaged. It's not just that it's going to be physically uncomfortable, it will create permanent, until fixed, if you will, right, patterning in the body, truly. I mean, there's no opinion to it. It's a machine. It either works or it doesn't. And it has to breathe. That's one of the biggest points. It's like when we discuss how huge the jaw is, we put so much focus on the jaw. Well, the jaw of the human being plays these functions at least in the entire body. Eating, speaking, breathing and stabilization of the entire body come through the jaw of the human being. And yeah, the hand only exists after the rib cage, really. The ribs connect to the spine, but the shoulder connects to the spine, and then from there we go out to the hand. I mean, the feet really only start from breathing. We can say it anatomy-wise because, yeah, you know, the brain stems into the spine, then the lungs are there where the rib cage is connecting into the spine. That's where we're breathing before we can even, you know, travel from the brain through the spine down to the feet. You know, I mean, the life force has to come from somewhere, and it's the brain, or it's the heart, or it's breathing. And really, breath is the essence of human life. It's the thing we can go the least amount of time without before we die. And breathing is a physical expansion and contraction of movable, as in bendable, rib bones. And they have to have the ability to do that. But that comes from the arms getting out of the way, from the hand up to the shoulder. It comes from the feet stabilizing the legs, from the foot up to the hip, before we can even expand the rib cage to breathe. So what I'm saying is, this is the point. The video's title, 27th of March, 2026 is today's date. The body naturally takes up space. What I mean is, if I'm out here and there's no one around me, this is how I'm speaking so loud and bold and projecting the volume of speech and audible sound that I am, is because I'm able to fully expand my ribs. I'm not winded. I've been yelling for basically this entire video, however long it is currently, and I've been speaking just about nonstop the whole time. The only way I'm able to physically do this is if my body's in a physical position to project the sound. And it's got to be able to open. The body naturally takes up space. So what I'm saying is, you'll notice most all the In The Image Clothing Company videos, on our main side at least, up until today's date at least, the 27th of March 2026, are out here somewhere in a field or on the mountainside, here in the desert of Utah, wherever it is that I've filmed these videos, in the state of Utah, the United States of America. While I'm out here, I can open my body. But we get into our modern man-made societies, and if you're in a kitchen with somebody, or you're in a car with somebody, or you're in a building of some kind with somebody, or you're just at an event with somebody and there's people around you, you only have the amount of room that you have to physically move. And then that's why we feel like we're so closed off as human beings, because we are literally physically closed off. And then this will cause you to not want to speak, because you cannot physically speak loud and project your voice if you cannot physically open and expand your rib cage to breathe. And this can't happen unless you have a physical proximity of space around you for your body to naturally take up space. It's not some kind of like psychology hack type thing that people might want to say it as. You know, if you take up space, you'll feel better or bigger. I mean, in ways we can just say that that's directly correlating, but it's a literal physical ability to mechanically operate as a human being by having enough room to, or you just cannot. That's it. Truth is truth. It's a physical machine, the body of the human being. It naturally takes up space. So the thing is, though, I talked about oversized tops. They will close off the shoulders, and then you can't breathe, and you also just can't open your shoulder capsule, and everything's altered in your whole body because of it. But anything like this in the body, you know, directly clothing it, just the literal wording of clothing something with something else, that's what we do under In The Image Clothing Company, and have since the very founding. That's the reason, and that's the approach for being a clothing company to begin with. Date marked and documented under the gift of video. This is what we do. there's only one way the human body could ever work, and our clothing is the only thing physically placed on us. It's the most direct thing. You can approach anything else you want to in your entire life, but you're always doing this within clothing, if there's anything physically placed on you to clothe your body. So the body naturally taking up space, it's either physically allowed to or it isn't. And you'll never possibly train to it. It's just there because the bones naturally have their full range to their motion before they hit another bone, or it's being restricted. That's the only option. Those are the only two ends. That's it. There's no opinion, no sales pitch, no approach under In The Image Clothing Company that could matter to anyone, so don't believe us. Sounds weird maybe to some, but I say it often. Me, Evan Strong, as the founder of In The Image Clothing Company, I say very clearly and often, do not believe us. Me or our team members under In The Image Clothing Company, even our poodles, I say in a way that's to show how it doesn't matter. Truth is truth. We don't have an approach, no human ever could, on how to get the body to work. You allow it to, and it works. Within our own individualistic situations, to the degree that we physically can, is what I mean, because we do have different bodies within the universal human design where we do. I understand that fully. Personally, too. Yeah. My own personal experiences, physical things that are different about my body that are very, very uniquely different than other people don't have. I understand this. There truly is only one way the thing can work, though. Okay? The human being is what it is. And I say it as bold as I do, and I yell about it like this a lot of times just to get over the surrounding sounds, but because I am going to be doing this for my entire lifetime, and people will always, if and where they do, just want to believe that it's a claim. But no, there truly is only one way the human body could ever work, and I will continue, and our team under In The Image Clothing Company will continue to deepen our understandings, our explanations, and what we're doing here when it comes to the human being and how to allow it to work. There's only one way. It's God's design. It either lives or it dies. It either works or it doesn't. It either breathes or it can't, right? Do you see what I mean? It truly is only what it is. It's a mechanical machine placed onto this rock in space that is our Earth, abiding by God's laws, the laws of physics and gravity, and all things like this that we could discuss. There's only one way these things happen. It's apart from all of us. That is what we call truth, something we do not get to decide or change as human beings. And the way the body functions is only what it is. So it naturally takes up space. There you go. Okay. More explanation on this where we give it if we do, but when I say modifying our approaches to how we do things in life, when you sleep, make sure you're not being confined by what you're sleeping on or in. When you're going somewhere to sit next to someone, what I do personally is when I'm going to sit somewhere, if there's like multiple seats right next to each other, I'll do what I can to make some space between me and the person sitting next to me, not to avoid being close to someone, because I don't want to be next to someone, but because I need, just as we all do as human beings, the physical amount of space to allow our bodies to continue to work completely, fully as a whole, the only way they can. And it just doesn't happen if you have things physical proximity wise just too close to your body. So yeah, whenever you're doing anything in life, just do all you can to, if you will, I like to word it like this because then we can have it be a universal understanding of free modifications in clothing, what we're clothing our bodies with, but free modifications in the way that we approach our lives. Try to do all that you can to modify, if and when needed, where you are in life, standing or sleeping, walking or sitting, waking or, entirely unconscious when you're asleep. Everything you do as a human being, we need to try to do all that we can to modify our physical environment around us to have enough space that we can just continue to function, because it just kind of sneaks in there, Day after day after day, you're sitting in the same seat, and maybe you have arm room on one side, but on your other side, maybe there's a wall there, or there's the inside of the interior of a car there, on only one side of your body, you will be having full range of motion able to happen on one part of your body, but not on the other part if there's something just in the way. Maybe it's one side of your body versus the other side of your body, and this will create patterning day after day after day if you're doing this continually. We just have to approach everything centered. There truly is a center line to the human being, and evenly, both left and right hands, but just also understanding, the taller you are, the longer you are, the lankier you are, things like this, measurement-wise, of your arms or your legs or your height as a human being, yeah, I mean, the actual bone structure and length. The more physical room you need to continue to operate as a human being, otherwise you are limiting your ranges of motion. So this stuff comes in ways we would never even think about it if we don't. As we say under In The Image Clothing Company, this phrase often, we don't know what we don't know, and we can't be held accountable for what we don't know, because there's a lot of things you would never even think about, okay? Until you do. Myself included. I mean, that's the point. Like I say, most all of the things that we discuss under In The Image Clothing Company with allowing the body to work, me, myself, Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company, I didn't know any of this stuff until I was about 24 years old, just a couple years ago, give or take, from today's date, the 27th of March, 2026. I'm currently 26 years old. So anyway, I'm just saying, we don't have to feel bad about anything that we don't know what we're doing, and then we end up damaging our bodies through it, because of it, or by doing it. But once we know things, we have to do all that we can to change our behaviors, change our approaches, change our, ways of going about our lives. Once we gain understandings of things, we have to apply these, otherwise, yeah, it's to our own detriment, if you will. It's to our own damage. It truly will just damage our bodies to damage our bodies, right? I mean, there's only one way they work, and so that's really what we do here under In The Image Clothing Company. Just give a lot of information, thorough discussions like this one here, and there you go. So I'm not going to talk about much more of anything in this video. We'll just leave it here. We discuss where clothing sits very clearly, though, under In The Image Clothing Company, just to not alter the body. I mentioned a few things in this video, but, we just have to remember it truly is only a mechanical machine. Unless you change the shape and length of your bones and the ways that the muscles connect to them, you will never possibly get your body to do anything other than what it can do, and really what it has done since a child, other than you've just grown larger. There's only one way the human being functions. So there you go, okay? Yeah, another one of our fourths in the Image Clothing Company music. We show the sizing and setup of guitar for this reason, to not alter the body, the natural rounding in the hands, the neutral wrist, straight out the outside of the forearm, down and out that pinky finger. We discuss, though, in every aspect of life, this is something you have to have, fingernails and toenails fully to the tips of your fingers and toes to back and support them. That's why they're there. Natural God-given strength, that's why they grow. And we cut them relatively flat on the tips, so we stay in the neutral position of the wrist and the ankle, or the rounded open palm in the hand and the arches in our feet. There's only one way these things happen. We have to allow the body to work, because anything we do in our lives that could alter our bodies will transfer and translate, if you will, over to everything else we do in our lives. If you're eating in an unnatural position, it transfers over into you sleeping in an unnatural position, because we wear our teeth and we work our jaw musculature in imbalances as we chew our food, if we're not doing it as centered as we can. So yeah, just truth is truth. It's nothing to do with us, nothing we could ever possibly take credit for under In The Image Clothing Company with just how the human being functions, or even how to allow it to work. But there's no dispute to truth. There's no dispute to God, the designer of the human being. There's a universal human design when we get down to it, is the point. And we just explain things so thoroughly so that we can do what we can to ensure we get down to it. What we're actually discussing here, the information we're actually delivering, what we're actually saying. So hear what we're actually saying and not what you're hearing, okay? And I'm gonna cut it right there because this video was awesome. And I really like this silhouette, type lighting. This was great. shout out to Dante for being such a good dog. We advocate for how to be a good owner of dogs and what that really means over on In The Image Clothing Company Poodles. You know, keeping less dogs in shelters, more dogs at homes. It starts before birth with the proper breeding of purebred dogs for the health of dogs. And we will be based in St. George, Utah, okay, for life as In The Image Clothing Company within, you know, somewhere around just about a month from today's date, the 27th of March, 2026. Dante, my current standard poodle here, and I, me being Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company, hi Dante, we will move down to St. George, Utah. Our team will be there, our building will be there. That's where we will ship our products out from. And, you know, all that we will do. Poodle Parade events here in the state of Utah, the United States of America, is our location that we focus on, and we live up Utah as In The Image Clothing Company for the beautiful, diverse nature. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints headquarters is here in the state of Utah. St. George, Utah is a true desert. It's really very hot in the summers and warm in the winters, relatively warm. So yeah, beautiful red rock sandstone down there. We will do a lot of beautiful things in nature, event-wise, like poodle parade events under In The Image Clothing Company Poodles. Bring your poodles, purebred of any size and or mixed poodles of any size. Come for the events, and the reason we're doing them, not for In The Image Clothing Company's team, but yeah, getting people into nature and dogs into nature, yelling over the surrounding sounds and the airplanes, wind noise, whatever it is, where we do, if we do, continue to do what we do, that's what we do. That's what we do, but meaning if needed, you know, if it's noisy around, sometimes we just have to yell over it. But anyway, yeah, there you go, okay? Yeah, subcategories like clean the creek or rid the rubbish, specific poodle parade events, you know, things for the environment of our planet Earth, always just discussing the human body, allowing it to work in all the ways that we do, deepening, furthering our understandings and our explanations as In The Image Clothing Company. Our team will always be awesome, God-fearing, dog-loving, nature-loving people. We just do what we do, and we have since the founding been doing the same things. And so thank you, and goodbye. Shout out to Dante for being the beautiful dog that he is. I know I already said something similar to that, but he's amazing. He's so excited right now. Why are you so excited right now, bud? Huh? You're just awesome. That's why you are awesome. Even if that's not why you're excited right now. Hey, don't bite my clothing. Oh, you are good. You are so good. Good dog. Whoa, Dante. Okay. All right, thank you. Yeah, I've got Dante's slip lead here. You know, dog products and human being clothing, keeping collars centered, the importance of snug collars, In The Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification, In The Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification, you know, modifying pant zippers, and even things like tongue tabs in shoes, you know, the importance of the proper height socks and the proper height shoes, you know, all of these things, clothing being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials, and never having any stretch within anything because our muscles go the opposite direction of stretch, okay? Anyway, this is what we do under In The Image Clothing Company, so... Oh, Dante, dog. You are a good boy. You are good. Oh, what? You kind of singing, Dante? Are you singing? You sound kind of like a husky. Ah, why, man? Why are you so aggressive right now, huh? What are you doing? Oh my gosh. Oh, good dog, huh? Yeah, yes. I did not expect the ending of this video to go like this, but this is fun. Oh my goodness. Oh, Dante, dog. Oh my gosh. Hey, bud. Oh my gosh. Oh, Dante. Oh my goodness. I've actually never seen him quite like this before. I'm serious. Dante, stop it. You're almost biting me. You are crazy right now. Okay. Hey. Okay. Good. All right. I'm just not trying to cut it premature. That's why I'm still just kind of playing with Dante through the video. Oh, good. Also, if he's having this much fun, there's no sense in cutting that short for him unless we needed to. So it's fun to document too, because Dante is the rescue, and his life has improved and changed. He's grown so much, you know, obedience and knowledge, you know, what he can do, what he knows, and his confidence level, all of these things, you know, since I adopted him from the South Utah Valley Animal Shelter back in December of 2025. So it is cool, you know, just doing so much under the gift of video under In The Image Clothing Company. It's cool because we can watch the journey, I can watch my own journey back as the founder. You know, our team members, you can see the growth in them and the change in them, you know, in their physical bodies too, as they do what we do under In the Image Clothing Company with allowing the body to work. And, you know, our poodles as well, that's what I'm saying. You can see the growth in them. You can see the change in Dante's body, you know, coming from wherever he did, you know, just being the rescue. I don't know exactly where he was from before he came in as a stray to the South Utah Valley Animal Shelter, but physically his body wasn't really able to move much at all. You know, he had a lot of patterning in his body, you know, things like matted up hair and imbalanced collars, you know, leashes that dogs sometimes just, yeah, right. There's a lot to it. I mean, there's a lot to it. What I mean is we discuss these things over on In the Image Clothing Company poodles specifically as one of our forwards, but it's just cool to document. I just love the gift, as I call it, of video. So good dog, good dog, good. Yeah, anyway, the silhouette, huh? I mean, I like this. But yeah, I'm excited too for St. George, Utah, because I mean, that's something that involves you if you want to be involved with In the Image Clothing Company, because the location, you know, the state of Utah is a huge focus of ours for the environment's health and just for, you know, what Utah is. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I mean, there's a lot that we, it's a lot that we do, and you know, the state of Utah is a big focus with our clothing company. Yes, it is, you know, and I mean, that's, you have to know who we are to know who we are as In the Image Clothing Company. Our 5-word company name, yeah, our 5-word company name does not explain who we are. It doesn't. I mean, yeah, we deal with clothing. We'll always sell good clothing products once we start to, but in no way does it give you a real understanding of what we're actually doing if you just hear our 5-word company name. So context over content is an episode's title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. We're on episode 204 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast as of today's date, the 27th of March, 2026. And so anyway, yeah, we're just doing what we're doing. We're going to keep going, keep building. Our team will just always be awesome people. And a lot of what we're going to be able to do is because of our beautiful team that will be able to help us with all that we're doing, you know. So stick around, man. You sticking around, Dante? You're sticking around for your whole life, dude. You're mine. Good boy. All right. Yeah, I did not expect this video to go like this. I felt an urgency to go, you know, do what I was doing about an hour ago, give or take. Well, this video is over an hour long, but you know, about an hour before I started filming this video, I started to feel this urgency, and then I didn't know we were gonna film this video, and we ended up doing it, and it turned out wonderful with this lighting like this. It's just really cool. A lot of it's about the date marks to show congruency. I mean, it just is what it is. Our authentic approach. I mean, it's hard to word that because I don't want to say our authentic information because it's not our information, but it's not our authentic approach because there's no way you can approach the human being. It's only what it is. But that's what I'm saying is really, it's just to show congruency, the longevity of, you know, we've been saying the same thing since the founding of In the Image Clothing Company. We were founded for these reasons, and it is what it is, you know. No matter whoever tries to claim anything about what they're trying to get the body to do, it's truly physically, mathematically impossible. And we just get down to the truth of that so deeply you couldn't possibly, you know, think we have a claim on it. It's just mathematics. So anyway, thank you.